Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
I knew this was coming the moment my phone started buzzing like it owed money to the baseball gods. Because, folks, this was inevitable. Trade smoke is officially turning into trade fire after the Jays locked up Kazuma Okamoto, and now the reports are flying fast and loud. One particular name from last season keeps popping up, and it's someone who played a massive role not too long ago. Today on the Blue Jays Report, we're diving into what these new reports really mean, why a trade feels unavoidable, and how last night's quiet moves could be setting up something much bigger. First of all, shout out to all of you holding it down daily. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what to tell you. This is the place to be for non-stop Jays coverage. You've all been absolute beasts, and today's update is loaded. Let's start with the obvious. Kazuma Okamoto is officially a Toronto Blue Jay, and yes, it's a fantastic deal. But whenever you add a major piece like that, subtraction becomes part of the equation. That's not speculation, that's roster math. And multiple insiders are now hinting that if the Jays want to make another big splash, especially with a star-level addition, a trade is coming to clear space. One particular report flat out stated that any further additions would almost certainly need to be paired with a corresponding trade. That's where things get spicy. The Jays are still lurking in the Kyle Tucker market, but even without Tucker, this roster is overflowing, particularly in the outfield. When you have that many bodies and only so many innings, someone's bags eventually get packed. And that's why a certain name keeps surfacing. The outfield depth chart is crowded to the point of absurdity. You've got everyday caliber players stacked on top of platoon bats, stacked on top of bench pieces. That's not sustainable. A move isn't just possible anymore, it's logical. One interesting wrinkle comes from reports linking the Giants to the outfield market. San Francisco needs help badly, and analysts have floated a few names that could make sense for them. Among the possibilities, a Jays outfielder who's coming off a strong stretch and has real value around the league. Not a superstar, but the kind of player contenders love because he just works. Here's where it gets even more intriguing. Trading an outfielder doesn't necessarily mean punting the season or selling for prospects. The Jays aren't in that phase. If they move someone, it could be for bullpen help, something they quietly still need. A high-velocity arm, a lottery ticket reliever, someone Pete Walker can get his hands on and turn into a menace by August. And look, let's be real for a second. Holding on to every single outfielder isn't doing anyone any favors. Some of these guys deserve everyday at-bats, and they're not going to get that here anymore. With Okamoto expected to log most of his time at third base, that pushes other players into the outfield, which squeezes playing time even further. It's a domino effect. That doesn't mean trading someone is easy. Fans get attached, especially to players who showed up in big moments. But baseball isn't sentimental when it comes to roster construction. If you want to get better, sometimes you have to move a good player to fix a different weakness. And that's the key point here. This isn't about panic, it's about optimization. If adding Okamoto was step one, then step two is balance. Whether that trade happens before or after a Kyle Tucker decision, it's coming. The roster simply demands it. Add in the fact that the Jays front office has been quietly building strong relationships with major agents, staying aggressive behind the scenes and positioning themselves for another strike, and suddenly this all makes sense. This team isn't done, not even close. So now we wait. Watch the rumors, track the dots, because whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week, someone is getting moved. And when it happens, it's going to reshape this roster in a big way. Let me know what you think. Would you pull the trigger on an outfield trade to improve the bullpen? Or do you ride it out and let things sort themselves? Either way, stay locked in to the Blue Jays Report, because things are only speeding up from here.